Hello campers! Me and Kyle are here today to tell you about how to build a fire. But before we start with that, first things first, make sure you always have a parent or guardian or some sort of adult supervising you when you're building a fire, as it could sometimes be a little bit dangerous. Secondly, make sure you look at all of your state, federal weather regulations, everything, to make sure it is a safe day for you to build the fire. And then thirdly, make sure your area around where you're going to build the fire is safe. Make sure there's no dry leaves. Make sure it's in a sandy or dirt patch area where nothing's gonna catch on fire around your fire. Now that all of that is out of the way, we're gonna start with, right over here, Kyle is working on making a bird's nest. A bird's nest is when you take a rope and you pull it apart until it's all just fibers. And it's like a big fluffy, almost looks like a bird nest. That's why it's called a bird's nest. Now if you take that, that's really, really easy to light. So that's why he's working on it. And then on top of that, we have in our little fire pit over here, we have a feather stick that Kyle also made. He's the expertise over here. This is just a stick that we used a knife to feather into these tiny little pieces of wood that are really easy to catch too. And now let's just wait for Kyle to get his bird's nesting done. So now we have our bird's nest in the fire pit, we have our feather stick, so we have all of our tinder. We have all of the stuff that's really, really easy to catch on fire. This is how you start a fire. We have all this because it's easy to light, but it doesn't stay very long, so we need some bigger stuff on there to make sure it keeps going. Now we have all our tinder in the fire pit ready to go. Kyle's going to get ready our kindling. We have kindling because it's sort of an intermediary thing between our tinder, which is really easy to light but doesn't last long, and our fuel, which is really hard to light but it lasts a long time. So this kindling over here, it's going to catch moderately easily, but it's going to last for a little bit longer than the tinder. So right now Kyle is just setting it up in a TP-esque shape, just having all of our kindling resting on the tinder, going upwards because fire rises. Now we have all our tinder, we have all our kindling. Everything is nice and together so it can catch, but also we're making sure that we keep a nice air pockets in there because fire requires air. So if we have the air and we have the fuel, Kyle is getting ready to light the bird's nest, which will then catch everything else. Once your fire catches and everything starts catching on fire, it's really, really important that you make sure you start feeding the fire. Give it a little more kindling, but always make sure you have that nice little air bubble around it because, again, fire needs air. As you can see, Kyle is blowing on it right now to feed the fire all of that oxygen. It needs to go up. And as he's doing that, he's adding more sticks onto the fire to keep giving it more fuel to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, your fire will have grown as big as you'd like it. But it's also really, really important that you keep a bucket of water around you in case something goes wrong with your fire. Now, once you have your fire going, it's pretty strong. You're just adding a whole bunch of sticks to it. You can start adding big stuff. This stuff is fuel. This is gonna keep your fire going longer. So if you wanna make a cooking fire, if you just wanna have a fire around your campsite to keep you warm, this stuff will help it keep going strong and for a long time. So thank you all for coming today. That is all we have for you. Make sure you're safe making your fire, but most importantly, make sure you're having fun. Now go enjoy your marshmallows. Bye-bye.